beat Hamilton for now. I could try and compete with the big boys, but I think realistically I've got to try and beat my teammate in the same machinery is what I'm trying to say. So we're going to try and beat Lewis and see if we can try and put in a good performance here in qualifying. We're going to go for 3 runs as always. So we're going to try and go probably on the ultra soft tyres, which are the fastest compound available. Bear in mind, around this circuit, just like at the Hockenheim, which was the last race, there's no super soft, so you go ultras, softs, mediums with no super soft in between. So once again, it could potentially make for very interesting strategy calls in this race. So let's see how it goes, and hopefully we've got some good pace. Straight away I hit the track on the ultras, and I can say the car felt great, really great around here, and the setup was working good. The tyres were they felt so grippy, and I just felt like wherever I pointed the car, it would work. As you can see, we go fastest there, beating Hamilton for first place at the time, and straight away I felt confident. It's very rare that I ever compete for pole position. Even though we got one last time out, generally speaking, I don't often get poles. I think the last race in Hockenheim was my first pole of the season, so it's quite rare, especially with 2 races in a row, to compete for pole. Now, meantime, you can see Leclerc, he's gone fastest, he's gone P1 in the transition from one set of ultras to another. However, we're on for an improvement here on my second attempt, and the question is, can we do enough to snatch that pole position back from Charles Leclerc one more time here, going through the final corner, opening up the DRS, across the line? Do we get the job done? Yes, we do, and we get pole once again for the second time in this session by a couple of tenths of a second, and that is a very decent lap from us, and I was very happy with that. And to be honest with you, I didn't think I had much more pace left in the tank after that lap. However, we went out for one more run to see if I could improve, and with 50 seconds on the clock here, we're still P1, so we're looking good here, and we're going to try and run the ball for an entire lap of the Hungarian. Straight away, looking at the 100 metre ball, really, somewhere between the 50 and the 100 you want to try and break, down to third gear / second to make sure you rotate the front end for turn 1, then flat out through turn 2, down towards turn 3, use third gear to really rotate the front end, get the power down as soon as possible as we go flat out through the right hand kink, and now you're looking for pretty much the turning point for this left hander, which is kind of blind. You want to basically use the curb on the right hand side as a reference point, and then really attacking these curbs without touching that inside curb there, because that inside curb is deadly. If you touch it, you will spin. As we now attack the chicane, Leclerc going faster still, fastest up out of everybody in the Sauber, setting a pretty damn quick lap time as we now go through sector 2. All these kind of tight, twisty corners, it's all about car momentum and good setup work as we now go really fast through this right, not running wide, otherwise you will invalidate your lap time, as we now go purple through sector 2. Now the penultimate couple of corners here, and the final sector, it's all about momentum and making sure you don't throw the lap away after it's been such a good lap so far up to this point. Now into the final corner, fourth gear, make sure you really keep a nice tight line as you now get the power as soon as possible. We're now P3. Do we improve across the line? And the answer is yes, we do, and we do actually get second place. We don't get first. Leclerc does snatch it, but I can tell you it was extremely close. 10 thousandths of a second was the gap between Leclerc and myself in the qualifying session, and Leclerc just snatches pole, and we can't make it 2 in a row for us in pole positions. But Leclerc takes pole, fair play to him, he done a good job, and my lap was pretty much perfect. There was a couple of tank slappers which I might have just snatched pole, but those are the fine margins in Formula 1, and all in all, that is your grid for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and we're now going to move into the race. Let's do this.
It's always wonderful to come back to the lively Hungaroring, a popular destination this, nice and close to the beautiful city of Budapest, with some exciting racing to boot. Who can forget Michael Schumacher pushing his old teammate Rubens Barrichello up towards the pit wall in 2010, or those great races of 2014 and 2015 as well. We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday puts him on pole, and Martinez completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel and Ricciardo, Verstappen, Alonso, Sainz and Marcus Ericsson, Hülkenberg, Gasly, Stoffel Van Dorn and Hartley, Perez, Ocon, Kevin Magnussen and Roman Grosjean. Stroll and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Right then, here we are on the grid, front row alongside Charles Leclerc, P2, and pretty much Leclerc, even though Raikkonen is second in the championship, I think Leclerc is the main rival for this championship season, and we are going to go to blows, I think, and this is going to be a very, very interesting race. The Sauber is very fast around here. It took me a very, very strong lap to get on the front row, and even then Leclerc was just a little bit quicker than me, and I couldn't really get it out of the bag. But all in all, I'm happy and have a very decent qualifying session, and this promises to be a very exciting race. Now, like you guys saw in qualifying, we did qualify on the Ultras, so we are going to start the race on those tyres, which means the strategy today, once again, like the Hockenheim in the last race, is going to be a two-stopper with 2 soft tyre stints involved pretty much. And fuel-wise, I've actually gone quite light. I was originally recommended around 39 laps of fuel. I'm going to run 36, only 1 lap over. I want to be light because Hungary's a track we don't really use rich mix that much, except for the pit straight. So hopefully it can work out in our favour, and hopefully, like the Hockenheim, we can get a good start, and that way I might have a chance of getting past Leclerc down towards turn 1, but I feel like that Sauber just has too much acceleration power. But you never know, we'll wait and see, and hopefully we might be a little bit lucky. With that being said, let's jump into it. It's time for the race for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Let's do this. Right, here we go. Let's get the revs up and get ready for the 5 red lights here at the Hungaroring. The lights are on, and they are off. Away we go. Not a bad start, but definitely not my best one. Not as good as last time out. Hamilton and Raikkonen race straight past me here as we go down the inside of turn 1. Yellow flag behind. Got Vettel on my outside. I'm going to squeeze him off. Make sure he doesn't get that move. But we lost 2 places off the line. Definitely not a good start. Raikkonen and Hamilton getting great starts. Lewis trying to go around the outside of Kimi there. He's going to have the inside line for the next corner. Will he make it stick? Not quite. They're still side by side here. It's getting very close. Raikkonen with the inside line back. Lewis goes around the outside and gets the move done on the Ferrari. What a good move there from Lewis Hamilton. And he takes second place. Raikkonen drops down to P3. So good stuff there from my teammate as Leclerc already getting a gap out up the front. Really strong start from the Sauber. The acceleration you saw in the initial phase, it wasn't that bad compared to me, but then he just pulled away on the straight. As we've got another momentary yellow flag behind us there. But so far P4, not the best. We've got work to do around the track which is known as MONACO without the barriers, so I'll be intrigued to see where we can make things happen. I'm not really sure how we are in terms of straight line speed compared to a more normal car, say a Ferrari or my own teammate. So it'll be interesting to see how we fare. But for now, it's a poor opening lap in this race, and we are down a couple of positions, and I can also tell we are down on straight line speed already here. I'm having to use the maximum engine modes to somewhat stay in contention. If I have DRS I should be okay, but I need to stay within a 1 second gap of Raikkonen. So let's get our head down and let's try and stick with the pack if we can. Leclerc fastest lap, 16.4. To be fair, I've done a 16.5, so good pace that lap. I've made an adjustment to my brake bias and put it up to 56 from 52, and it's made all the difference now. I feel a lot more confident with the car, and I'm a lot happier with the balance, so I can now start to push a little bit. It does feel like myself and Lewis are similar for pace though, and we don't really have the pace of the front runners. Both Ferraris and the Sauber of Leclerc seem to be faster than myself and Lewis at the minute, and we're kind of fighting where we shouldn't really be fighting, as Ericsson's starting to make his way through the field as well in the other Sauber, so he's going to be on us pretty soon. DRS though is now enabled, as we know, so luckily we've stayed within range, so that's going to help us out. Not my best exit out the final corner, has to be said. I might be on the back foot here. Sebastian's gaining, we're going to have to go defensive and cover off the inside. Very deep on the brakes, and we'll have to try and bring it back for the apex. There we go. Nicely defended there, textbook stuff as we stay in front of Sebastian. This is now a scheduled pit stop lap, so let's see what we can do. Maybe undercut Raikkonen and Hamilton here potentially. Okay, I think I'm going to stay out. I'm hoping Lewis might come in. He doesn't. Neither does Raikkonen, but I'm going to go long here because the front 3 are staying out and I'm racing these guys. And also, if I do go for the 2 stuff, I'm going to come out in the middle of the pack with all that traffic having to get through all of that. So if I can avoid that, I reckon that's the best option. So we're going to stay out here. My tyres are okay for wear, so I can definitely stay out, and obviously they're okay for temperature, so let's just go long here and see what we can do. I am losing the back end a little bit, I've got to be honest, and Lewis doesn't come in. I'm starting to think if I should have maybe gone for the 2-stopper. I'm struggling with my rears. Vettel's on me this time. Left rear's overheating. Yep, I'm struggling. I'm going to have to concede the position. Nothing I can really do, to be honest. I'm going to have to come in, I think. Managed to get my left rear back on target, but I start drifting and I lose it all again. I'm going to come in though. I can't do this anymore. Leclerc's in as well, that's the main thing, so that's important for the championship. But I've had enough of these tyres, I can't go any longer, so let's go on to the softs. There shouldn't be any hold-ups, which is good. There we go, 2.2. Leclerc goes into another set of ultras, I think. Yeah, he does, so that's quite interesting. Leclerc going very aggressive, we're going softs, we're going nice and long. I might be able to run ultras again later on in the Grand Prix, but for now, we're sticking with the soft compound tyres. There should be a solid race tyre, and I shouldn't really be struggling with the rears. I've got a nice bit of clean space on track as well, which is important. So if I can push in this window and hopefully undercut Vettel, Raikkonen and Lewis Hamilton, then we're back in contention in this race, even though I reckon they're going for a one-stop. So let's try and go with a good pace on these tyres. As I run wide there, pick up my first track stand of the Grand Prix. I'm going to push on, push hard, and see if we can undercut these guys and try and get those 3 positions. Okay, Lewis came in that lap. We've got the Ferraris as well. There's a Ferrari leaving the pit lane. There we go. And that's Raikkonen. We've jumped him. But Raikkonen going for the mediums. That's a long way to go if he's going mediums to the end. That's a very, very long stint for Kimi. So that'd be interesting to see how that one pans out. Lewis in front of us, also on mediums. So again, a very long way to go. You've got Leclerc on the ultras. So a lot of split strategies here. I'm on the softs. It's kind of a bit of an unknown and a bit of a lottery at the minute. I'm quite intrigued to see how this all pans out. Let's keep pushing though. Hopefully we can try and undercut a Vettel, which should be in this lap. So let's push on and try and rejoin in front of Sebastian. Right, there we go. Fast lap of the Grand Prix. It's going to be close with Sebastian. There he is, leaving the pit lane, but we are going to be in front. Crucially, he's also on the mediums. So I wonder if all these guys are going to the end. If they are, this is going to be very, very interesting. Let's see how this soft tyre performs, because if I can maybe get an ultra soft on at the end, then that might be a decent option. I'll have to get to around lap 25 on these tyres, but let's see what happens. Let's just play it lap by lap. But strategy-wise, this has just become a very intriguing race now. Right then, we're up close and personal with my teammate. As Magnussen comes in there, Leclerc setting the pace. Here we go, at the final corner. It's going to be double DRS on Perez here from both of the Mercedes. But I think Lewis is too far back for a move on Perez. But I'm not too far back for a move on my own teammate. Down the inside of Lewis Hamilton. Got that confidence on the tyres at the minute. Lots more grip on these compared to the mediums. The mediums are not the best tyre for this track, has to be said. So we are past my teammate. Up next, Sergio Perez. Let's try and line up for a pass and try and get past him relatively quickly. Might be quicker than I thought, actually. We get very close to Sergio. The right-hander there. Can we go for the chicane? Not quite. I was trying to line him up there, but the acceleration he got was too much. Very close to Perez here. I wonder if I can maybe set him up for a move through the fast right. He's going to go defensive, which is interesting. I'm going to go for the switchback line. No way through just yet. Just got to sit behind him for now. He might come in, to be fair, so I'm just going to wait. I want some DRS. I know he stays out. That's fine by me. We're going to set him up for the switchback / decent exit line. Maximum engine modes plus DRS. Here we go. Let's do this nice and easily. Down the inside. Little lock up there, but nicely under control. And we get the move on Perez. Job done. Hamilton slips through as well, which is good for us as a team. And we are now P4 in this race. Up next, Stoffel Van Dorn. Let's go. Right, back to the strong laps. 16.5. Good pace. I'm going to burn up some more of this fuel. And try and close the gap to Van Dorn if we can. Right, behind Stoffel now. Will he come in? No, he doesn't. So, going to have to pass him on track. I went down to standard engine modes on that lap because I've burnt off enough fuel in the RS. But let's try and get past Stoffel here. To be fair, pretty good straight line speed from the McLaren, so we're going to have to actually use the max engine power for a little bit to get the job done. Down the inside of turn 1 once again. There we go, nice move, perfectly executed. Little block pass manoeuvre, and we are now P3 on for a podium. Hulkenberg next, Leclerc leads. Again, he's still on those ultras, Leclerc, so it shouldn't be much longer before he pits in. I wonder if he's on like an aggressive 3-stopper or something. It remains to be seen, but for now, it's looking interesting strategy-wise. I'm not really sure where to call it, to be honest. Okay, Stoffel comes in along with Hulkenberg and Leclerc. Much shorter stint there from Leclerc. And Leclerc, like I mentioned, potentially going aggressive on another set of ultra softs. So Leclerc's going to 3-stop this race, and he'll probably be on softs in the final stint. That'd be my guess. But that is a very aggressive race strategy from the Monegasque driver. So right now, we are leading this race, and I want to say I'm not the net race leader, because if Hamilton and Vettel go to the end, we're going to have to pretty much make up a whole pit stop gap to them. However, I should be pretty quick in the final stint regardless of whatever tyre I'm on. If I could get an Ultra on at the end, that'd be great, but I'm not convinced it's going to happen. I'm going to once again try to extend that gap back into rich mix and hot lap mode, as we've saved a bit of fuel and battery, so we can once again push for a couple of laps. Right, looks like my DRS has just gone offline, so that's great. Luckily I'm not overtaking anyone at the minute. Hopefully that will come back later on. Fingers crossed. If not, it's going to make my race a lot more difficult. Right, we're going to come in. I've made a decision, and we're going to go for another set of softs. I've had a look. I've got no fresh ultra softs left, so that's not an option for me. If I don't have fresh tyres, then I don't normally go for used ones, especially when it's ultra softs. So we're going to come in for another set of soft tyres. And also, we still should have a decent pace advantage. Leclerc has to come in again, so we've actually got on-track position over him, which is the main thing. And hopefully we can still try and attack Vettel and Hamilton maybe towards the end of the Grand Prix. You never know. We are going to be P9. We are going to have to get some overtakes done, it has to be said. And my DRS is still offline. But I had to pit. It wasn't an option to stay out, unfortunately, because my tyres were not going to make it. So, all things considered, we kind of just back into a bit of a corner, really. The AI, for once, it's been quite a rare one. You know, most races is pretty straightforward, but for once, this has been a race where the AI have pulled out some pretty magical strategies out the bag. Everyone's gone for different strategies, different tyres, and it's really made it an interesting race. And we've actually come out with a pretty short straw out of the whole thing. So, we're going to have to get it done on track in this final stint pretty much. So let's get our head down and let's get to work. Well, I'm all over the back of Carlos Sainz here. Hopefully we can pass him sometime soon. He's definitely slow. Those mediums are just not a great tyre in terms of pace. They're reliable, they won't wear out, but it's just not a great race tyre. I want to try and go around the outside here of Sainz. Very close, a little bit of a contact. Love the inside line.
On Gasly. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Right, Gasly's slowing down. I think he's in front of us, so that's good news. We've also got the move done on Sainz, which is good. And we've cleared him, so he's not going to re-overtake me with DRS, which is also good news. So we're now P8. Leclerc has to pit as well. So far, it's been a good start to this stint. Efficient overtaking, not wasting much time. Up next, Alonso and Hulkenberg, and I reckon we get a nice little 2-for-1 here, if we can get them on the straight. Okay, my DRS is back, it seems. Here we go, on the back of Fernando Alonso. Unfortunately, he has DRS off of Hulkenberg. I'm going to stay in the slipstream though. Gone for the late dive, a la Ricciardo, and it's a job well done. We get past Alonso, again, first time of asking. Up next, Nico Hulkenberg, let's get past him now. Oh, Hulkenberg goes defensive into the chicane. Locks up, there we go. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. We just avoid losing the front wing. Put Hulkenberg under some pressure. Wasn't expecting to actually get that good of a run out of there, but we got the run. Hulkenberg forced into a mistake. So we're now P6. Got to say this is going better than expected. We've got Verstappen here trying to get past lap traffic. And we're still on for a personal best, having made 2 overtakes this lap. Car's working well, tyres are working good as well. And you've got Lewis, Raikkonen, and I want to say Leclerc on the pit straight battling out as well. So this is working out okay for us so far. Another personal best again. And Sirotkin has blue flag, so hopefully he moves out of the way. We're going to keep it in rich mix now and burn up a little bit of battery on this lap. Use the tyres while they're still fresh to close up to Verstappen. Sirotkin not moving. We're going to have to go for a brave overtake. There it is, around the outside. Have to get that one done. That's exactly where I lapped him last time on the previous stint. Have to go for it again there. Let's see if we can maybe get some DRS come the end of the lap on Verstappen if we push hard enough. Yeah, we've got DRS on Verstappen here. Oof, big tank sapper. I don't think I'm close enough for an overtake. 15.8, fast up at the Grand Prix. We are gaining, but not really close enough for a move on Verstappen just yet. I reckon it won't take long though. Not long at all. I want to go for it again, I think. I'm going to try and go for the move I did on Sorokin on Verstappen. Around the outside, look at that, look at the grip we have. And we get the move done. Great overtake. Really feeling confident with the car at the minute. It's working beautifully. So we're P5 now. Great recovery. Making our way through the pack. Now we've got quite a way into our next car. You can see the mini-map. There's the front three. Lewis leads the race. And Ricciardo is just a little bit further behind the top three. So we're all pretty much on the same straight at the moment. I'm just a little bit further back. I'm going to once again push on here with rich mix and high ERS modes to try and catch up to Ricciardo. Another fastest lap, 15.7. And these tyres are not exactly fresh anymore, but we're still pushing here. I reckon we'll get past Ricciardo. I'm not convinced we're going to make it to the front three, unfortunately. I think we're going to run out of laps and also tyres, ultimately. Just a whisker off Ricciardo's DRS there. Just a shame. I'm just short. Another fastest lap.
Energy deployment limit and losing ERS power before the end of the lap.
Yep, I understand. Don't worry, Jeffs. I know how to use it. Right, I'm gonna save battery and fuel this lap. I should naturally get within Ricciardo's DRS on just raw pace alone, so I'm going to use this as a chance to save a little bit of fuel and battery to hopefully use to get past him. This is it. We'll have DRS on Ricciardo here. And at the final corner on the power, I'm a little bit far back. I don't think I've got enough, unfortunately, on this straight to get him. Not quite. I've also haven't got as fresh tyres to go for the dive that I was going earlier on, so going to have to wait a little bit longer. You can see the top three though, they're literally just going through the next corner here. We're very close, but I think we're just going to run out of everything. Time, laps, energy, fuel, tyres, all of it. Right, this time I'm more prepared. I'm already in hot lap mode, so I don't have to do that manually. Fifth gear this time for a bit more traction, even though it doesn't do much of a difference. But we are closer this time. Overtake, ERS, engage, come on. We're closer this time. Ricciardo goes defensive, goes for a little move. We are going to go for the overtake though, a little bit of contact. But we've made it work, and we're now P4. 3 laps to go. I'm going to use up my battery now completely. Can we catch up to the top 3? Let's find out. I think it's a little bit too much to ask. I'm going to give it everything. Okay, I managed to just nab some DRS off of Hartley. We run a little bit wide there at the final corner though. Little track extend warning, that's okay. We don't mind that. 2 laps to go. Let's see what we can do here. Hartley gets out of the way nicely, thank you very much. Hopefully Grosjean does the same thing. Not the best, Grosjean. Not the best at all, mate. Luckily, no damage sustained. Right, last lap. All or nothing. Rich mix in hot lap mode. Let's go for it. Oh, a little bit of lap traffic. Stroll. Causing a bit of trouble there for Leclerc. He gets out my way. We're not close enough though, I don't think. Nothing's going to happen. We need one more lap to really have an attack. But there you go. All 4 of us are going to finish pretty much side by side. Hulkenberg there, retired from the Grand Prix. But it's going to be P4 for us. Hamilton wins at Hungary. Fair play to him. He's had that one coming for a long time. He's had a bit of bad luck lately, Lewis, the last 5 races. And he deserves that. But all in all, P4, a good result.
So, another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
Oh, I'd say it's just raw pace, plain and simple. I mean, we could sit here and talk about strategy all day, the overtaking, looking after the tyres, but at the end of it all, if you want to win, you need a package that's got the speed over everyone else, and that's exactly what they had today.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today.
Right, so looking at the final race results, Lewis wins at Hungary and Sebastian Vettel gets P2. Ultimately, the ultras onto the mediums was the strategy to do. I just couldn't do it. My ultras were gone, so I had to go for a 2-stopper. Leclerc as well, maybe in a similar position. And ultimately, I thought Leclerc was going to go for the 3-star, but he actually went for the 2 and went for the softs. I could have sworn I saw him on ultras, but that might have been my eyes deceiving me. Either way, P3 for him, P4 for me, Ricciardo P5 ahead of Verstappen, and then Sainz, Ericsson, Raikkonen only P9, and then Van Dorn rounding out the points. And you know, that's going to be big for the championship, because if we look at the standings now, we are top by 38 points. Leclerc and Hamilton overtake Raikkonen for second and third place respectively, but Lewis only 3 points behind Leclerc, and it's looking very good for us as a team in the Drivers' Championship. And in terms of the Constructors, we extend our lead to 62 points over Ferrari, and a 1-4 finish for us as a team, a very strong result, and I'm very, very happy with that. And all in all, I can't complain. And overall, a decent little race, and hopefully now we can put another upgrade on the car. I think in the aero side of things for the rear part of the car for the next race coming up in Spa. So that being said, let's jump into the laptop and let's get the upgrade on the car. Right then, so here we are on the contract negotiation screen. Now we've been offered a chance to renew with Mercedes and of course get an improved contract. That's exactly what I've done. We've got qualifying position 5, race position P3, first driver, hard team goals, and then level 3 and everything except for pit stop efficiency. Let's see what they say to this first offer.
They didn't like those terms. Let's try again.
Right, okay, so a very, very small way from getting that perfect. So we're just going to go simultaneous development down to level 2. And I'll go pit stop efficiency level 1 and see what they say to offer number 2.
Our proposal has been accepted. The new contract will take effect from the next race weekend.
Right, job done. So pretty straightforward. Happy with that. And now we're going to move into some development. Now, if we look at the R&D tree, we've got 2,000 points to spend, and we've got Spa and Monza up next. Now, I'm tempted to get an engine upgrade. I was originally going to go for an aerodynamic one and get this one here, and that would be on the car straight away. Having said that, we could be more powerful on the straights, to be honest. It could be better. So, we're going to go for a fuel technology upgrade to improve our engine power. And that should arrive hopefully for the Italian Grand Prix. And we're going to save the rest of the points. And hopefully we can buy the aerodynamic upgrade after the next race in Spa. But with that being said, guys, hopefully you did enjoy it. Actually, wait. Before we do that, let's do this before I forget. So, obviously, Spa next. So, we're going to get a brand new engine on. Let's do it. Let's get the brand new power unit on the car. Fresh engine. Maximum performance for Spa. And also, we're going to use it for Monza as well. So, yeah, that should do the trick. And now we're ready. So yeah guys, hopefully you did enjoy the video. If you did, then please do drop a like and also get subscribed for daily Formula 1 content. Turn notifications so don't miss a single upload from me, and finally check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.